The video clip that I'm about to show you was just leaked. What you are about to see is a highly illegal, discriminatory hiring practice that is being done by IBM and Red Hat. You're going to directly see how they were coercing their hiring teams to choose certain groups of people over other groups of people simply based on the color of their skin or their ethnicity. They were also eliminating bonuses if their hiring teams weren't obliging and actually firing individuals. This is 100% illegal and goes directly against Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You can see right here in the highlighted area, Title VII prohibits employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. When you go down to the section of Title VII that says unlawful employment practices, it reads, "It shall be an unlawful employment practice for an employer to fail or refuse to hire or discharge any individual or otherwise to discriminate against any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, conditions, or privileges of employment because of such individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. To limit, segregate, or classify his employees or applicants for employment in any way which would deprive or tend to deprive an individual of employment opportunities or otherwise adversely affect his status as an employee because of such individual race, color, religion, sex, or national origin." So I think it's fairly clear that if Arvind Krishna, who is the CEO of IBM, or Paul Cormier, who is the chairman of Red Hat, uses any discriminatory practices in the hiring of individuals, especially on race or color of their skin, this is illegal and goes against Title VII. I will let you watch this leaked video clip and I will share more of my thoughts afterwards.
Our last question is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. IBM highlights their progress in promoting and recruiting underrepresented minorities in executive roles and holding executives accountable for D&I goals. At Red Hat, executive representation is dismal and there is no accountability for DEI work. Why do you not hold Paul to the same standards for diverse staffing and leadership as IBM does?
Oh, I hold Paul actually to the exact same standards. Let me begin with that. The rest of you may not realize this, but Paul is part of my direct executive pool, right? Not just part of Red Hat. Consequently, I'm very clear about this. I expect at the executive level that is not just my directs, but all executives in the company have to move forward by 1% on both underrepresented minorities. So let me say it, Asians in the US are not an underrepresented minority in a tech company. However, others are. Ditto on gender diversity. So we take underrepresented and gender. You got to move both forward by a percentage. That leads to a plus on your bonus. By the way, if you lose part of your bonus. Paul's held to the same standards. So for blacks, we should try to get towards 13 point something percent. On Hispanics, you got to get into the mid-teens. On gender, okay, we are somewhere in the mid-30s, I think, for all of IBM. If we improve by that, then in a few years, we'll actually get to where we want to get to. And that, by the way, includes Paul. So yep. You said the question as if Paul's not included. Paul's very much included in that.
So let me add a couple of things with a Red Hat flavor on it. I think Arvind laid that out pretty well, but let me go deeper in the Red Hat. But the assertion there is no accountability around D&I efforts at Red Hat is really not the full picture. I mean, as Arvind very much pointed out, and I very much understand, I am accountable. I hold myself accountable. He holds me accountable, as does the board for all of IBM. But we also hold the leadership at Red Hat accountable for that. I mean, I'll be very candid. Without an exception for privacy, I could name multiple leaders over the last year plus that were held accountable to the point that they're no longer here at Red Hat.
So this is pretty crystal clear here. IBM, under Arvind Krishna, who's the CEO, is using hiring practices to hire individuals based off of their color or their ethnicity, or to not hire individuals based off of their color or their ethnicity. In addition, they are either giving bonuses to their hiring teams or taking away bonuses from their hiring teams if they abide by these rules or if they don't. And then in the case of Red Hat, we are seeing that this guy, Paul Cormier, is saying that he's actually firing people if they don't actually hire individuals based off of their race or the color of their skin. It cannot be more obvious how illegal this is. This is completely against Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. In no uncertain terms can you ever hire or not hire an individual based off of the color of their skin or their race. It doesn't matter if you're trying to push some sort of agenda and the world looks kindly upon it or something like this. You simply can't do it. Because it's promoting the groups that we want to promote, we won't say a word. Because it's the type of racism that we like to see, we'll just be hush-hush about it and let it exist. Or are we going to hold these individuals up to the standards that have been set into law by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which is law in the United States of America, and hiring tactics like this are unacceptable? Anyone who has been fired from Red Hat under this guy, I would sue them immediately. In addition, anyone who has not been hired, who has tried to get a job there, if you're of a certain race or color, I would probably sue immediately as well. This, by the way, was recorded in 2021. It took 2 years for this to be leaked. So they've been doing this for a long time. And I don't think IBM's the only company doing this either, by the way. Now, I know this is not the most groundbreaking thing, of course, because we see this all the time. We actually even see this in our own government, where Joe Biden explicitly said, I am not necessarily going to pick the most qualified vice president. Not going to do it. I'm going to pick somebody based off of their gender. Now, I know this sounds nice on its surface, but it couldn't be more terrible. Because when you look at someone like Kamala Harris, and you can ask her point blank and say, hey, Joe Biden said primarily he was going to pick you because you're female. That's why he was going to pick you, not because you were the most qualified or you the best one for the job, but his number one thing is that you had to be female and you fit that bill. Right off the bat, you can see how disgusting that is. It should never be a thing. But of course, you should never not pick somebody either because of their gender. On the opposite end of things. So if a female is the most highly qualified person, then that individual should be picked. I know you're probably not stunned or surprised about this, but I mean, obviously this is against the law. Something needs to be done about this. But are they really going to? I don't know. Seems like we lived in a pretty corrupt world where even video evidence, nothing gets done about it. But again, what do you think about it? Leave your comments below. Catch you on the next video.